Indians and Hindus in the eyes of the Nazis. This episode is sponsored by Highwater Tea. Adolf Hitler. He is the person most associated with World War II, Germany, the Holocaust. Just ask anybody about him, and a long line of humanity's worst crimes will be heard. Hitler is known for persecuting Jews, handicaps, homosexuals, Poles, Frenchmen, and countless others. But a little known fact about him is his treatment of the Indians and the Hindus. Let's hear about them. Hitler had a complicated relationship with the Indians and Hindus. He considered Indians on par with the Africans. They were too down the hierarchy of races and he believed they should be oppressed. Hitler's view on Indians were very disparaging. He considered the British colonial rule of the subcontinent as an exemplary one and intended the German rule in the occupied East to resemble it. This is openly expressed in Mein Kampf, his autobiography. He declared that Indian freedom fighters as Asiatic jugglers. He described the Indian freedom movement as the rebellion of the lower Indian race and race against the superior English Nordic race. However, all this changed in September 1939 when Germany invaded Poland and Britain declared war on Germany, which started the World War II. Technically, he still loathed the Indians. The Nazis knew that the Indians were the Aryans, but the blood became filthy due to inter-ethnic mixing. However, India got a special position in Berlin. Hitler thought of Indians as a mere tool. Indians were against the British and Germany wanted to defeat Britain. And as Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose puts it, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. But then on 29th May 1942, something unexpected happened, something which perplexes historians today. The lower race youth leader met the Führer. Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose met Adolf Hitler. Hitler's study was exquisitely furnished but could only seat a few. Foreign Minister Ribbentrop, Ambassador Havel, and Hitler's personal interpreter Schmidt were already seated in their respective places. On the wall in front there were two large maps, one of Europe and Asia and other a similar one that marked out Germany's war fronts. As Netaji stepped into the room with Adam Trott, Hitler welcomed him with a flourish, the leader of the Azad Hind, and shook hands with him. They took their designated seat. Netaji rose and held out a gift, wrapped box to Hitler. Hitler beamed and excitedly opened it. Inside was a copper-colored statue. Hitler stared at the bare-bodied figurine. Trott was surprised and amused. There was a Buddha seated in the Padmasana, the lotus pose, in Hitler's hands. It was an unexpected choice of gift. Hitler kept looking at the statue for several minutes unable to identify it. Then, flaring his nostrils, he demanded, "Who is this wrestler?" "Lord Buddha, the founder of the Buddhist faith. He taught peace, that is, non-violence and compassion." Netaji Bose replied. Bose arrived in Berlin via Moscow. Bose was well aware of Hitler's prejudice towards Indians, and in fact, Hitler ridiculed Indians in the meeting. A huge country of 38 crore people, and you allow a couple of thousands outsiders from England to invade your country, bind you, muzzle you for 200 years, Hitler spat. Subhash Chandra Bose knew if the Axis won the war, Indians would not be independent, but in the rule of the German, Italian, and the Japanese. The German goal was to use Bose for propaganda and subversive activity. In the end, nothing was made of the meeting, and Bose formed the Azad Hind Fauj only with the help of the Japanese after the fall of Singapore. However, it is wrong to say that no Indian fell down the deep dark hole that is the Nazi propaganda. Meet Savitri Devi Mukherjee. Savitri Devi, or her birth name Maximina Julie Portes, was a Franco-Greco lady who was a proponent of Nazism, who served the Axis powers by committing espionage on the forces of allies of World War II in India. She was later a leading member of the Nazi underground during the 60s. She believed Hitler was an incarnation of the Hindu god Vishnu. She believed Adolf Hitler was a sacrifice for humanity which would lead to the end of the Kali Yuga by ending the powers of evil, the Jews. She traveled to India in 1932 in search of a living pagan Aryan culture and then formally converting to Hinduism. Within neo-Nazism, she promoted occultism and ecology. Fortunately, she died in 1982 and her ashes were shipped to the American Nazi Party of Virginia, which was placed in the Nazi Hall of Honor. Savitri Devi's story is perplexing. How a person pledges allegiance to a dictator who compared her people to dogs. Unfortunately, her story is not an isolated one, and alarmingly in the Hindustan itself. In India and many South Asian countries, Hitler is quite a common name, and not only in conversation but almost everything from t-shirts, mugs, phone covers has the Führer's name mentioned. A Delhi-based publisher grabbed headlines when it released a children's book titled Great Leaders and put Adolf Hitler's photo on the cover. What's more alarming is that even politicians credit Hitler as a great leader. BJP leader Chandra Kumar Bose, who is also the grandnephew of Subhash Chandra Bose, pitted Jawaharlal Nehru against Hitler and declared Nehru a traitor and the Nazi leader a nationalist who never betrayed his nation. Historians attribute this patriotic feeling towards Hitler mainly because of his saying that only Aryans should be the superior species in the world, a feeling which is quite similar to what many Indians believe. Some also think that this is the impact of colorism in the nation. Hitler was a great white dictator, which secretly many Indians admire. Many Indians, however, strongly believe in a Hindu nationalist fascist regime similar to Hitler's Germany. As humans, we should learn from the past, and it would be unfortunate if we commit the same crime many people are despised for. Let's hope a Nazi India will never occur.
ঠিক 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 বলেছি বেশ 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 করেছি